The fact is, women do not need men's protection. We need men to stop creating the danger that makes their protection necessary. Hello everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about whether or not men are our natural protectors, or are they actually the only thing we need protecting from? So the reason I wanted to address this today is because one of the ways men in general are attempting to discredit the female empowerment movement is by saying, because I mean they're grasping at absolutely anything they can to try to advocate for us essentially staying how we've been, which is under the thumb of men. Okay, so one of the things they are using is they're saying, but of course you need men because you need us to protect you. And men en masse are saying this to women. It's ridiculous. The female empowerment movement is ridiculous because you still need us to protect you. But the one fact they never mention is, what is the thing women need protecting from? Men. Men are the only thing that we need protecting from. The danger that they are referencing but never directly addressing is the danger men create. So they're telling us to accept their protection while completely overlooking the fact that the only thing we need protecting from is them. And there lies the real issue that they are avoiding. So what we have is men creating the problem and not acknowledging the fact that they are the thing creating the problem, but instead putting all the focus on us accepting them as the solution. When if we actually address these things and do the maths, the solution is men focusing on the fact that they are creating the danger, and that is the place where something needs to change. But what we have is these men intentionally putting the focus on this idea that women are just rejecting men and rejecting the protection that they need from men, and never acknowledging the fact that men are literally creating a situation where we need them. It is not a natural occurrence. We do not naturally need men's protection. We need men's protection because we live in a world where men are putting us in danger. Men are like these men who are intentionally trying to discredit the fact that we have come into a position where we don't need them. And because we don't need them, it means that we are not in a position where we're motivated to accept any shit from them, okay? And unawakened men, of course, don't like that because they're not being accommodated in the state that they're in, right? So what we have is these men trying to discredit this movement, and they're essentially trying to make out that women like us are kind of rejecting the natural way things are supposed to be between men and women, which is that they are our natural protectors and they are designed to be our natural protectors. I'm sure you've heard this a lot, you know, that men are the natural protectors. Now, this makes no sense for two reasons. One, because the only thing that puts us in danger in the first place is men. Even nature minds its own business. The only thing that makes women need men's protection is men. So it doesn't add up. Telling us that men are natural protectors, it does not add up. It doesn't make sense. So either they are not capable of putting two and two together and coming up with four, or they're relying on the idea that we can't, but we can. And two, because if you actually look at the evidence of what's going on this earth and has been for centuries, it is a fact, not an opinion, that men are predisposed to violence, oppression and abuse, specifically of women. And yet they are We're supposed to believe that they are predisposed to protecting us. Once again, those numbers do not add up. There are far less men on this earth who are protecting us than there are men that are putting us in danger. The numbers of men who put women in danger is ridiculous. It happens every single day in the thousands across the entire earth. This literally proves that men are predisposed to this behavior, not to the behavior of protecting us. Yet we're being told they are our natural protectors. Why? Because men are avoiding accountability. Because when men actually look at these numbers like we have, and they join up the dots and they come to this logical conclusion that I have just explained, what does it mean? It means they have to address the real issue, which is the fact that they are the danger. And that is the issue that needs to be healed and changed. So a way of them avoiding that is by just making out that feminist women have an issue accepting protection from men. It's not about rejecting men or their protection. It's about the fact that one day we have to deal with the root, and we have to stop dancing around the subject to protect fragile male egos who don't want to look at themselves and acknowledge that they are creating the issue in the first place. We have to acknowledge the fact that it is men making their protection necessary, and that is the root cause we have to at some point deal with. We have to acknowledge the cause rather than putting all the focus on women needing to accept men as protection. Do you see how if the focus goes there, nothing ever changes because we are not dealing with the problem? All to protect fragile male egos who don't want to look at themselves. I'm absolutely not advocating for not accepting protection from men, because the reality is men have created a world where we need their protection. That's a reality. We are living in a world where we need protection from men because of men. That's a reality. And, they try and make out that we're just these angry women who don't want protection from men. I find it incredibly attractive when a man is protective, because when a human being, male or female, it makes no difference. When a human being is protective, when, genuinely protective, not protection disguised to cover possessiveness and control, which it often is. When a person is genuinely protective, it shows that they care about you. And that's incredibly healthy and natural regardless of gender, and that's incredibly attractive, okay? What I am rejecting is men's inability to address the fact that the only reason we need protecting is because men are putting us in danger. Because that is the real issue that needs addressing so that change can actually occur. Because right now, and for centuries as far back as we can see, it's just an absolute mess. And the issue that's causing this mess is not being addressed, and men are still trying to avoid it. What I'm advocating against is being told that men are our natural protectors in order to disguise the fact that men are, in fact, the only thing that makes protection necessary. That's what I'm calling out, okay? Because until we start addressing this fact, change is not going to occur. As long as we keep allowing men to disregard us by accusing us of just being angry women who are rejecting protection from men because we have a chip on our shoulder, we're allowing them to avoid accountability for the fact that they are the only things putting us in danger. Even nature minds its own business. The only thing that consistently will not mind its own business is men. The threat to us is men. And that's the fact that is being overlooked and hidden so that men can keep avoiding accountability, so that they do not need to do the work that they need to do and the world needs them to do. Men say that they are the natural protectors because they are bigger and stronger, and yet literally the majority of the male population uses their size and strength to harm, not protect. And that is a fact. Facts that men love to overlook. Men say that they are the ones that fight wars, but who are the ones starting those wars? Who are the ones continuing those wars? Men who are still refusing to grow up and evolve. Like I said, I find it incredibly attractive when somebody is genuinely protective because it shows that they care. But what I don't find attractive is when men en masse insult our intelligence by telling us that men are our natural protectors because they're assuming we can't figure out the fact that they are the only thing putting us in danger. That is what I don't appreciate. When the evidence, the overwhelming evidence, the numbers literally prove that men are in fact predisposed in the opposite direction. Telling us that men are our natural protectors is an insult to our intelligence and our math skills. As long as we dance around these subjects and refuse to acknowledge the real issue, nothing is going to change in this world. And this is why we have these men trying to disregard us in these ways, because they are avoiding acknowledging the work that they need to do. So they're kind of projecting everything onto us by creating this narrative that we're angry women trying to reject men as our natural protectors, right? They're avoiding acknowledging the fact that men are the danger on this earth, okay? And as long as we continue to do that, and as long as we accommodate that, nothing is going to change. And of course, I'm not naive. It's not like I think in the next few years, all men are going to wake up and deal with their predisposition toward violence. Of course not. I believe that's going to take a very long time, but it begins with us holding them accountable. It begins with us calling them out on these ridiculous, illogical narratives they try to get us to accept so that they can avoid facing themselves. But what we're instead seeing en masse in the world is men deflecting and disregarding what women are saying with random assumptions and accusations like, you just hate men, or you're just angry. And you see what this does. It allows them to avoid actually acknowledging and addressing what we are saying. Why would they do that? If what we're saying is not true, this is the thing, if something somebody is saying is not true, then you can easily address it and shut it down. So when we have so many men avoiding, disregarding and deflecting, it is because they know that if they address what we are saying, they will have to acknowledge the truth, and they will have to take accountability, and they will have to make change. This is why so many men are just saying women are angry and women hate men, when all we are saying is 2 and 2 makes 4. If men were genuinely concerned with protecting women because they are the natural protectors, they would obviously be focusing on the thing that is putting us in danger, which is their own behaviour. However, what we see is them being more concerned with protecting themselves and hiding this fact in order to avoid accountability for it. The bottom line is, the fact is, women do not need men's protection. We need men to stop creating the danger that makes their protection necessary. And how do they do that? They do that by no longer deflecting the attention onto women and instead acknowledge the fact that men have a predisposition toward violence and abuse, which is the only thing that is making their protection necessary. Only by men taking accountability and acknowledging this issue can we end the danger that makes women need protection. So no one is saying that men should not be protective. We are simply saying that we recognize and hold men accountable for the fact that you are the thing we need protecting from. And we recognize the fact that you creating this narrative that women are simply not accepting men as protectors is simply a deflection away from the fact that you are the source of danger that makes your protection necessary. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.